students. I am going to walk you through tutorial 6 right now. Before we do that, I'm going to show you how to get a solid image offline. A lot of people ignore this and end up with pulling out something that's too low in resolution. So when you're in Google, and I prefer Google over Bing. When you're in Google, you're going to click images and you're going to look for your favorite movie star or your favorite singer, just your favorite celebrity. For me, I'm going to look for Madonna, and I'm going to type in Madonna black and white photo. Okay? And tons of stuff will come up. Okay? But don't get sucked in yet, because we need to find a high resolution image. And the way we do that is we go to Tools. Then we're going to go to Size and choose Large. Now you want to get something that's got lots of contrast in it. There's tons of them out there. Here's one right here that's probably pretty good. But what I want you to steer away from with this tutorial is a busy background. Okay, so that could be a huge problem. So the best thing to do, excuse me, is to choose something that is not going to have a super busy background. So let's take a look. Alrighty. Now Miss Madonna can be kind of racy, so I don't want to choose something that's going to be embarrassing. So this is the one I've chosen in the past, and I think I should do that. So all you have to do is right click and then save image as. You can see below it's given a number of 2,345 by 2,834. That's a good size image. So I'm going to save this image, and I'm going to make a folder on my desktop. You should already have folders in your OneDrive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so we'll go do that right now. And I'm just going to make one on my desktop for right now. So I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm working on an apple, which is in Photoshop. It's not significantly different. So I'm going to just title this tutorial 6. And again, you should already have set up this in your OneDrive. Okay. So now I can just close this out, and then I can go to Photoshop and open that file. So I'm going to go to File and Open. And I'm going to go to my desktop because that's where I know that I saved that photo. Maybe. What did I do with it? Okay. Okay. Well, let's go back and do this again. I'm going to go here. Oh, I put it in the wrong place. Okay, so that makes sense. Y'all have to forgive me. All right, so here we go. I think it was in the crossword. Tutorial 6, there we go. And we're just going to open up Madonna there. Okay, there she is in all her glory. Just a quick reminder, always turn on your rulers. On your move tool, you always want to have auto select selected, and then show transform controls. Now, while you're listening to this, you may want to pause it. as you get closer to different things, okay? So, in this particular video, I'm not going to be moving extremely slow, so it's important for you to, just put it on pause if you need to. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is we're going to crop this puppy. And notice, now this is our cropping tool right here. And when you use the cropping tool, up here, you'll see some other things going on. Okay, we're going to go up to this first window right here. And I'm going to change it. Let's see here. Width by height by resolution. Okay. So I am going to crop this to 4 inches by 4 inches by 300 pixels. Okay. Now once you have, oops, I didn't mean to quite do that. All right. So I'm just going to, now once you have that done, you can move it around. And I want to crop up through to her bust here. So we're going to just kind of bring this in. All right. And once you have it set up the way you want it, see how I've got part of her chest here, and then I've got her head here. So this is exactly what I want. So I'm just going to double click, and it crops it for me. That's pretty awesome. So I'm going to hit Control-0 to bring it in so I can see. All right, now I'm going to move my tool back up to the Move tool, and we're going to use Command or Control-J to duplicate the background. So in your case, it'll be Control-J, and now you have duplicated that background layer. We're going to simply double click on the new name, and we're going to call this Original. Now, for the purposes of what we're about to do, I'm going to tell you just to hide the background layer. All right, stay on the original layer. And now we are going to learn about a new tool. So we're going to go back over to the left to our tools. And just a quick reminder, if you lose your tools or lose any of these tools over here, you can go to Window and select what you're missing. This set of tools is right over here, okay? And the rest of them can be brought up here. So don't let yourself get freaked out. And then we're just going to keep moving on. All right. So the tool that we're looking for right now is called the Quick Selection tool. Now, probably what you have open right there right now is the Object Selection tool. I want you to go to the Quick Selection tool. If you hold your mouse, left click mouse down on that tool, you can select the Quick Selection tool. Now, before you do anything else, I want you to look at the top right up here. Now, there's a new button, and with the new versions of Adobe Photoshop, there's a button up here that says Select Subject. And that's what we want to do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that button, and it should just simply select Madonna for me. So, look at that. It did pretty good, but because of all the dark here, and part of her arm is here, right, but it's so dark. So I'm now going to go over to this Quick Selection tool. And at the top, you'll notice that there are 3 brush types. Right, so you have the plus, which means to add to your selection, or your minus to subtract from your selection. Now there's too much selected over here, so I'm going to choose the minus one, and I have it on a really low pixel setting. I also have the hardness at 0, and I'm going to just keep the spacing at the lowest I can. So once you've done that, you can just click on where the marching ants are, and this is what we call these little moving lines. And look, I just did too much. If that happens to you, just hit Control-Z. Now can be kind of time consuming, and look what it did. So I'm just going to go back to my plus brush and see if I can't get it to act right. Now I'm not going to grab this part of her arm here. I'm just going to grab her forearm. So let's see if it'll behave for me. And when you see it start grabbing too much, you usually have to lower the pixel number. And if you see any marching ants on the inside, that you need to fix that pretty quickly. Okay, I think we're going to get there without any problems. Let's just keep going. I want to make sure she is completely selected. All right, look at that. Let's see if it'll go up and grab this part of her bracelet. All right, so I think this is what I want. I'm going to go over here and subtract some of this over here. Oh, that's fine. All right, now, once you have your subject selected, and I just noticed that I didn't get enough of this over here, so I'm going to go back to my plush, add, there we go, perfect. All right, so now all I have to do is I'm going to go up to select, and then I'm going to hit inverse. And you can also do this from Shift, Control I, okay? In my case, it's Shift Command I. So we're going to hit inverse, and now all that's selected on this layer is everything outside of Madonna, okay? And now, since your background layer is hidden, when I hit the delete key on my screen, it takes away all of that background. Now, to make the marching ants stop, and that's the little moving lines, we call it marching ants because it looks like little marching ants. So to make that stop is you go Control D, and it makes them stop. Now, I feel like I need to clean this up just a little bit. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to my eraser tool. And if you'll look to the left here, this is the eraser tool. When you click on it, it kind of gives you an idea of what it does. Now up here, things change again. So what we want to do is you can control the size of the brush just like we do when we use it for anything else. Now you can make it hard or soft. Here's a hard brush here. And the hardness, you can keep it high or go medium. Let's see what happens when we do that. So I am just going to make this size a little bit smaller. And I just want to clean up the edges a little bit, okay? So here we go. All right, so it's looking better. I'm just going to go over here. Then I'm going to go over here and clean up over here just a little bit. Okay, so this doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be close, okay? So now I have it completely cleaned up. Once you've got it cleaned up, then the next place we're going to go is to our Move tool. Then we will go over to our layer palette again, and then we're going to copy the original layer. In your case, Control J. Now, we're going to double click on the original copy and we're going to change it to sketch. Now, we want to be selected on this layer here. We're going to go up to Image, Adjustments, and then we're going to go to Threshold. I'm going to hold that there for you for a second for you to see where you're at. When you click Threshold, something magical happens. It turns into this incredible looking sketch. Now, the key for this project to go well is to have a lot of whites and a lot of blacks. Not more than, you don't want to have more than the other. Okay, so if you got too much black, you're going to probably have to choose a different picture. With that said, I'm going to go down here, and right here with this toggle, if you go too far to the right, you're going to get too much black. If you go too far this way, you get too much white. So you want to kind of adjust it. And in my experience of dealing with this particular photo, somewhere around 85-90% works well. So I'm going to put mine at 87. You should probably pause this so you can get yours set up. And once you have it set up, click OK. Now this is where it gets so fun. In the end, we're going to be turning this into an Andy Warhol masterpiece. And you, by the time you finish this, you will have been exposed to Andy Warhol's work. So that being said, what we're going to do is we are going to cut out piece by piece what we're going to color. It can be very frustrating. I'm going to introduce you to a new tool called the magnetic lasso tool. Now, right now, you probably have the lasso tool right there. If you take your mouse, hover over the tools, and left click, your options will pop up, and you want to go to that magnetic lasso tool. Now, to trace this, I'm going to use my original layer here. So with my mouse, I'm going to click on the little eyeball next to the sketch, and I'm going to hide it. And then I'm going to select the original. Now, this is where you really need to pay attention, because if you forget anything in this step, it won't look right. So now I'm going to go with my magnetic lasso tool, and I'm going to trace her hair. If I can find my mouse, that'd be great. All right. So I'm just going to start clicking. Now, the point of the magnetic lasso tool, I'm just moving my hand and not clicking right now, is that it will grab the edge of whatever you're tracing. Now, if your hand gets tired or you need to reposition your right or left hand, you can hold the space bar key down on your keyboard, and then release it, and then come back to grabbing the sides. Now, sometimes the mouse or this tool can go crazy, and you don't want that to happen. So be very, very accurate and slow in tracing out. Otherwise, you will lose your mind, I promise, and you'll say words in class that I don't want to hear. So again, now when you get into some tricky areas, you might want to click your way through it, and then when you get back into the areas where it'll just grab, you just move your mouse and it should grab it. So I'm just going to keep going. I keep making little mistakes, but I will fix them. Look what I did. So I'm going to have to start again. Now this will happen to you, and don't get mad. I mean, it happens to me too. My arm just slipped. So I'm going to go back. Control D makes the marching ants stop. And then we're just going to start again. Now some of y'all have much steadier hands than I do. And so it's going to, when you get in there and you start working, you'll probably do a better job than me. I've been doing this for a long time and I still mess this up. You can see I'm clicking through this part. Now I'm going to press down my space bar to reposition my hand. All right. And I'm not clicking through it. I'm just letting it grab the side of the hair. But I am being very deliberate in my movements. Now, once you get good at this, it'd probably take you 5 minutes. That, not as long as it takes old Miss Stark here. Anytime you see that little hand come up, that means I'm pressing the bar key to reposition my hand. Now I clicked there because there was a curve, and excuse me, and I'm just going to keep going around till we get to that first point that we started. Yay, I did it. Okay. So now I'm going to go back up to my sketch here. This is really, really important, so don't miss this step. I'm going to select the sketch, turn it back on. You need to be on the sketch layer to do this. Then you're going to right click where on the inside of where we have it selected. And then you're going to click Layer via Copy. Now notice you have a brand new layer here. So it's going to be our hair layer. All right. So I'm going to rename that layer. And I'm going to call it hair. Now, I'm going to hide that layer, go back down to my original, and I'm going to go piece by piece. Okay. I'll show you a couple of more in this video, and then I'll come back to you and show you how to finish this off. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you how to do the face. And what's important here is once you have all these layers on, is that whatever's on top is going to be what you can see the most. So we do want the hair on top of the face layer. And that's what I'm going to be working on now. So I'm going to simply go grab the face now. All right. All right, now I'm going to go inside the hairline here a little bit. It's going to tuck under her hair, so, and there's a method to my madness. So I'm just going to go inside. It's okay because the hair will be on top of this. I just want to make sure the edges are nice and clean. Okay, that looks pretty good, except I'm not happy with this area right in here. So if you want, you can go back over to this quick selection tool, and I'm going to subtract some of my selection here. Definitely don't want those beads on her face. All right, that is awesome. So I'm going to go back to my magnetic lasso tool. Now, here's that point that you don't want to forget. You're going to want to go back to the sketch layer, turn it on, and then you're going to right click, layer via copy. Oh, and there's the face. So we're going to call this face. All right, so now I'm going to pause the video, and you need to go select as much as you can. You'll see at what I've done in the next portion of this video.